Defy is the new album from metalcore band Of Mice and Men, and is the first album to feature Aaron Pauley at the helm of vocals out following the departure of Austin Carlile. Now, he's really kind of stepped up on this album, former bassist of the band, as well as a backing vocalist, and it was kind of worrisome as far as what would happen after Austin Carlile left, considering that Aaron Pauley really wasn't known for his screams, which is something that Austin Carlile most definitely was. So it was kind of curious to know where this album would land, where the band would go, would they kind of change their sound up, or what would actually happen. And Aaron Pauley really kind of lays all those worries to rest and really makes his presence known as a vocalist with the opening title track, Defy, just with these harsh guttural vocals that just transition into really nice clean vocals that we expect from him. He just does it so smoothly that you're really not going to be really missing Austin Carlile. I mean, there's obviously a difference in their tone, delivery, and sound, but in terms of their presence, they both have a masterful presence. There's nothing lacking by the switch to Aaron Pauley, as some people may have worried. This is also easily demonstrated on the bridge of the song Unbreakable, which is the first track that they released off this album. Kind of was the track where you felt comfortable again. You weren't worried that they were going off in some completely different area or anything like that. Now, this album isn't quite as experimental or as weird as their last album was, something that kind of featured all hints of everything from new metal to industrial to just really kind of off-the-wall sounds, and it was a very kind of personal album for Austin Carlile. It was an album that went through a lot of what he was going through and the pain that he was suffering through during that time, and this is more of a straightforward album. It kind of plays it safe a little bit. That's something that's kind of to a detriment of this album, that it doesn't really take any chances, and it's understandable that they went in that direction just because of the fact that this is a transition for fans of the band, and there's a lot of things where they could have gone and abandoned their fan base and it wouldn't have really gone so well, but they decided to kind of play it safe, and for better or worse, it works. But it also would have been nice to see the band, especially knowing what they could do, kind of push themselves and experiment a little bit. I think they really kind of just tone things down a little bit for this album, especially again in comparison to the previous album. Now, talking again about Aaron Pauley and the worries you may have had, probably the biggest worry was the fact that he wouldn't have do well with the kind of the screaming and the more brutal screaming that we're used to from Austin Carlile, and that's easily laid to rest with the song Warzone, which he just comes out with just utterly guttural screaming on there, and it's just something that we definitely probably didn't expect from Aaron Pauley, but it fits right in with the sound of the band and with the sound of this album, and it's definitely something interesting. Now, one thing that this album does do, where I would say they probably took a little bit of a risk, is a cover of the song Money by Pink Floyd, which comes about halfway through the album. And it's something that's going to be a bit polarizing for people, especially fans of that song by Pink Floyd. Personally, I think they did a good job with it. I think they did manage to elevate the song a little bit and kind of make it their own in the same way, kind of being respectful to the original. I don't think they strayed too far from it. It's still got the same sarcastic tone. It's still got the same overall feel to it. It's just done in a bit of a different style. I don't think that it's, again, in any way offensive at the very least, but I could see how people may not like it, particularly it is such a classic song by such a classic band, and anytime that happens, you're going to get a bit of controversy with that song in particular. But I think they did a good job. It's an interesting, and it's a fun song overall, so I think that they definitely chose a song to cover. That was definitely the right choice to make for them. As I mentioned again before, the only issue I have with this album is kind of its lack of diversity in sound. Their previous album really kind of showed what they could do and what they could bring to the table, and this is mostly a more straightforward metalcore album, kind of similar to what they've done previously, but it definitely was a bit derivative in some ways. It kind of felt like they were, again, just playing it safe, which I understand. I really truly get. I'm just hoping that for the future, now that they've kind of gotten over those the little bit of awkwardness of replacing a main member like a vocalist, that they really can kind of start to branch out and experiment again as this goes on. Overall, I do like this album. I think it's worth a listen to anybody who's a metalcore fan or a fan of the band in general. If you were had any sort of worries that Aaron Pauley wouldn't be a fit as far as the screaming goes, you don't need to worry about that. He's excellent on this album. He did a fantastic job of taking in the huge role of the vocalist and being the bassist as well. I think that they could do better with a bit more experimentation on their end, but just overall, Defy is definitely a great album from the band and a solid metalcore album as well. Thank you so much for watching the review of Mice and Men's Defy. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. Now, you may be wondering where I have been over the last few months or so. Videos have kind of been sporadic. I know my last video was over a month ago with the first Under Oath new track, but basically there's some kind of good and bad news with things in my life personally. I've been working at a new job for the last couple 6-7 months or so now, and while I'm much happier, I'm doing much better than I was in my as I mentioned in my previous videos. My mental health wasn't so great. I have been doing a lot better. Problem is that it doesn't really allow me to make videos as often as I would like. I'm very rarely home, and when I'm home, I'm trying to kind of catch up on things that I missed during the week. So it's kind of hard to get these videos done in a timely manner. So I'm trying to play catch up. My goal right now is to take a little bit of a break and just kind of push out a few videos. By May, I'm hoping that I will have enough recorded that I can kind of at least have something, at least one video a week for the next couple months, basically for the rest of the year. I have a few things in the works. I am trying to, there's definitely a lot of reviews that I've missed that I'm trying to cover, that I'm really interested in trying to get back into, as well as some non-music related things as well. I have a few movie related videos that I've been working on for over a year now, as well as a couple other videos that I will be trying to push out. So I appreciate you bearing with me during this kind of drought of videos. I'm hoping to have more as soon as possible, and again, I'm hoping to kind of get back on a regular schedule by May, so that way I can at least have something for you once per week with everything else in between. You know, I'm not saying that there will only be one video a week, just that there will be at least one video per week. Again, I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for your support and for sticking with me. It's definitely just means a lot that you guys are still here. Appreciate it. And you know, again, I definitely just want to keep you guys updated on everything that's going on with Metalloud.